Tough for me to objectively assess which pastime has got it worse in the past decade and change. Comics, television, movies, or tabletop gaming. I would think, man, if I was to just simply rank them from the outside looking in, like I think video games just simply get a pass because there is just such a, to use this properly, okay, a diverse range of games that are out there and a diverse range of developers that, yeah, it ends up just kind of escaping this ranking. But yeah, movies and television, well, at least there seems to be somewhat of a light at the end of this very dark tunnel, but comics and I probably got to tap tabletop gaming, okay, because its biggest ambassador being the likes of Critical Role and a bunch of other ideologically compromised ambassadors, it probably gets a little bit of a leg up. And it's so wild thinking that it was the bane of tradcon moms in the 80s, okay, with the satanic panic and how Alice Cooper and Dungeons and Dragons were going to turn your kids into Satanists. And now that same archetype of single mother is out there advocating for, different types of transitions for their kids at the behest of midday talk show hens. Anyways, some good news this time around, and it's kind of a follow-up on something that we did, a few months back when this was first announced. But yeah, in just the never-ending cavalcade of destructive releases, or at least announcements for the Tomb Raider fan base, there was a tabletop RPG that just had a cast of characters that just looked so goddamn unappealing. You would think that they would be a part of a Netflix show, but here we are, yeah, at least at the end of this, because there was just such a lack of genuine enthusiasm to this. The only thing that people were looking at this was just like with sheer and utter dismay how we went from polygonal titty Lara Croft to just her and her mystery machine of cringe. Because yeah, you got, oh my god, what was it? Yeah, the black chicks and amputee, and then you got the tranny with the collar, and then okay, cool, you got the one legacy character, mostly because he's an ineffectual fat guy, and then you got strong lesbian protagonist down there in the bottom, and then you got, yeah, the classic, quote-unquote classic design for Lara Croft, because they still can't bring themselves to race change her right now, but they'll play with her, sexual proclivities as much as possible, which is exactly what I think they're going to do with James Bond. But another topic for another time. But Evil Hat announces that Tomb Raider RPG is canceled, citing creative differences. Oh man, that's just so terrible. For adventuring fans, the promise of a Tomb Raider RPG has been broken again. Oh, creative differences have been blamed, but not all hope is lost. Tabletop RPG publisher Evil Hat announced last Friday that it had stopped working on a Tomb Raider RPG project. Aw, nuts. Evil Hat's Tomb Raider RPG was announced a little over a year ago in February of 2024. That long ago, huh? Time flies when you're dancing on the grave of a once beloved franchise. It was tentatively titled Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth. Oh right, that's what was so hilarious about this, because she's got the old spatula legs right there, and you got the two dudes in the middle, and then you've got angry lesbian over there in the corner. Fantastic stuff. I'm just surprised none of them have vitiligo, because that's also another one of those weird fetishes that I just cannot figure out why they keep on trying to include. And the company is shifting plans, citing creative differences. That's wild, man. So they wanted to take Tomb Raider in an even more radical direction, but even Crystal Dynamics is like, listen, okay, we're crazy, but what you guys are trying to do, yeah, we good. We good. Okay, licensed RPGs are always a tricky thing. And not only do you have to make a fun RPG engine, you also have to deal with various various departments involved in getting something approved. It's not just the creative side of things either. Branding and legal often get involved much more than anyone else would like, but by the time you have a finished product, it will have passed through many, many hands. It's honestly a miracle anything gets made. Yeah, just a whole bunch of crap, because honestly, man, it's so easy. It's just like a Tomb Raider game, a proper, profitable Tomb Raider game. Just make her hot, have her have guns, and then make her raid tombs. Bro, it's like it's a Blade movie. He's a daywalker who kills vampires. It's like a Sydney Sweeney movie. Don't need too much acting. Just have her get her cans out. This isn't difficult stuff. At a time when, a proper action-adventure game, because Indiana Jones, it's down real bad. And I don't hear too many people talking about that Great Circle game. And did it just release on PS5? Oh, right, yeah, nobody cares because it was a bad game. And Uncharted, like, unless Naughty Dog comes out, because they say that, oh yeah, we got something else outside of, Girl Boss in space, or we got another game in development right now, oh, it's gonna be great. And unless that somehow is Uncharted 5, where Nathan Drake ends up, cucking, and he's probably just gonna be the same type of lonely loser Indiana Jones was at the beginning of Dial of Destiny. He's just a drunken, divorced loser who lost his son after he signed up in an act of rebellion to go get shot and killed in Vietnam. So stupid. But yeah, Nathan Drake will be a cuck, and his daughter will end up taking the mantle, and she'll end up scissoring with somebody out in the fucking jungle. Can't wait for that shit. Neil Cuckman, the auteur of gaming. Blithering retard. Continue to tank The Last of Us on HBO because that's what you so obviously want to be doing. But anyways, yeah, like the entire exploring genre that was pioneered by a Tomb Raider, the time is right. You could go ahead and do it, but no, you can't even get a TTRPG off the ground. You can't even get a television series off the ground. And if you can, you give the pen to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the chick that put indie in a museum for good. And then you cast the least charismatic Stark as the lead. Like, what are we doing out here? But that's not the only thing that is just a travesty going on in tabletop gaming right now. There's also Wonderfilled Games, and apparently a legend in the space. I'm not going to pretend like I know this guy. I'm not going to pretend like I know this company, but he is very well regarded. He's up there with some of the greats, and well, he's had a public meltdown recently because his games can't get proper support, and he's blaming, you guessed it, Trump supporters, because of course, man, whenever your woke fan base doesn't come around and support your woke product, it's obviously the conservatives that you are mocking, deriding, and wishing out of existence that are to blame. Good stuff. So Wonderfilled founder has public meltdown on X about Trump supporters, a game design, and race. In the future, there will be no white people. I beg your pardon. It's so weird how you're just allowed to just, go out and say weird shit like this, but make it about any other race, culture, or ethnicity, and it just immediately gets, shot down as the racist drivel that it is, and rightly so. What began as a controversial series of statements about race and national identity in a tabletop RPG, A Giant Lands, has now escalated into a full-scale public meltdown by the game's creator. Wonderfilled founder, a man credited online as Stephen E. Dinehart IV, took to X with a angry, politically charged diatribe in which he attacked his own fanbase, blamed political opponents, and claimed that once again, in the future, there will be no white people. Dinehart's comments come in the wake of earlier backlash after Wonderfilled declared that the world of Giant Lands is set in a future where the USA and white people don't exist. Okay, that statement, already highly controversial, was made worse by the claim that the late James M. Ward, who passed away in March of 2024, had supported the premise. Oh, now Dinehart has doubled down with even more inflammatory rhetoric. In multiple posts, Dinehart described all Trump supporters as Trumpsies. Oh, very original. You should call them maggots after this, or after that, because I bet you they've never heard that one before. In his video, the Wonderfilled founder accused the original TSR, a publisher of Dungeons & Dragons, of becoming a magnet for them. He claimed his personal heritage as Hispanic and Native American made him a target for hate. Bro, nobody had heard about you prior to this meltdown, but have fun with that. Said that he never intended his work to appeal to conservatives or traditional RPG fans. Then who the fuck were you aiming at? The people that had just historically never buy anything? Good luck, man, and especially when you're putting out AI slop like this for your art. It's like you're supposed to be doing a creative endeavor like this, but you put out this shit? Like, ugh. He described the fan base as these bigots who thought Giant Land and Wonderfilled are for them, when in effect it isn't. Okay, my business has been in ruins for 2 years now. Oh man, I don't think I've sold the game. Oh no, that's all right. I don't want to sell to these people. Right? Yeah, nobody wants to buy my game. Well, that's fine. I wasn't selling to them anyways. Okay. He further accused the GOP of stealing elections. What the fuck? Okay. Destroying public education. Well, it's probably a good thing, because I'd imagine he's probably a product of the public school system. And if he's blaming everybody except for his customers who aren't buying his product, it really kind of goes to show that the public school is not very good at teaching, just a basic economics. Despite earlier claims that Giant Lands was intentionally created without white people, Dinehart insisted in one post that race itself is a myth. Okay, cool. Yeah, race is a myth, but we don't want any white people. make that one make sense. In the future, there will be no white people, he said, because white people never existed. Right, okay, color is an illusion, race is a lie. That's why there's no race in Giantlands. Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. If you're making an RPG and you don't want to have any race in it, yeah, you can totally do that, because the whole RPG, or the whole RPG genre, there we go, is just anything that you can create. You can go ahead and outline any rules that you want. It's just real life kind of adheres to these, you know, little things called rules that you'd like to consider guidelines, but apparently they're all racist, sexist, bigoted, Trump supporting, I don't know, whatever else you want to throw on top of that, but whatever. However, on the same platform, he also made a far more disturbing statement when responding to a white person upset at his comments. You'll just be bred out of existence. Yo, okay. We're not like you. We'll just eliminate your seed from this earth. Huh? Okay, somebody who looks like this saying that they're going to go ahead and breed white people out of existence? Bro, I don't think, like, outside of breeding cheeseburgers out of existence, I don't think you're wiping anything off the map. Dinehart announced that he is no longer interested in making games. Oh yeah, see, nobody's buying my stuff, therefore I'm not really making games, and I'm not really profiting off of that, so I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, you weren't really doing it to begin. Anyways, stating that his career became a flashpoint of hate that destroyed much of his life. Bro, you're crashing out and nobody fucking knows who the hell you are, but hey, I'm glad you're doing it, because, you know, I could use a little, you know, midweek entertainment. He described himself as having been cancelled by both sides of the internet and rejected the original TSR legacy as white boy fantasy. So yeah, you're glomming on to the thing that worked, that ended up getting subverted by a bunch of weirdos, and now D&D is being synonymous with just the archetypal example of why you need to gatekeep your hobbies, and you're not realizing the parallels that you have right there. I wanted to make a game where people like me were seen. Well, trust me, all you need to do is just take a look at all of the marketing material behind every one of your favorite franchises and realize that whenever they decide to pander to freak shows like you, who just hold this base level detestation with the majority of people in the United States and North America, never ends up working out that well for them. So why did you think that was a winning proposition to begin with? Oh, right. We've read your comments, and we can clearly deduce that you're not just Mexican, you're not just native, you're also retarded. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.